Okay, so initially this was gonna be like a get ready with me, but no, this is not going to be. So I'm 19 years old, my last year as a teenager, I guess, so yo, we're gonna make it count. But one thing I wanted to do a little video where I can kind of give like my older sister advice, because, well, I'm the middle child, I'm the youngest and the older child, so yeah. But I thought I would do a little big sister advice, you know, for the girls and the guys out there, but especially for the girls. So I'm going to give you guys some tips and some things I wish I knew when I was younger. This is specifically, well, you can watch this at any age. Well, most likely you're probably going to relate to it better if you're like in your teens or maybe your early 20s, but probably more if you're in your teens. This is just my big sister advice. Learn from my mistakes and some of my non-mistakes, some of my almost mistakes. But yeah, this is my advice specifically if you're very young, if you're in high school and you're on the ages of like 16, maybe 17, 14, 15, yada. But this can go for any age. Even if you're my age or a little bit older, this advice can still help you. But yeah, this can be just my advice. Okay, so this is, I don't know how many I'm gonna do, but we're gonna make it count. Okay, so my first piece of advice is, especially in high school, I know this one sucks to hear, like, it's so, I used to get so irritated when people would say this online, because I'd be like, this isn't true, like, this is such cap. As somebody who was bullied in school, I know what it's like to have no friends, and I've always been a loner. I'm an introvert, so I had no problem with having no friends, but being bullied made me feel like I had to have friends. So I did have friends, but I was happier in school when I didn't have friends and I was being bullied, rather than when I did have friends that weren't very great friends and I was still being bullied. Does that make sense? So it's better to be alone than to have terrible friends. And when you are in high school, or if you do middle school or primary school, hearing this is like the most annoying thing ever, because you're like, no it's not. Like, no it's not. It's not better to be alone than to have terrible friends. But no, it is. If your friends are not treating you well, if your friends treat you like, you know, you're dirt beneath their toes, you need to cut it off. It's better to be alone than have terrible friends. It is better to be in a small friend group than it is to be with like maybe 2 or 3 people, than it is to be in a friend group of 9 people, but you guys are not even close, and most of the time you guys you're in awkward silences, or you know, you guys are just not that close, or the friendship just isn't healthy, or it's not great. And I remember I wanted to be in a big friend group so bad, because I think I just wanted to experience what it was like to be in a big friend group. Because, you know, high school, even when you watch movies, when do you ever see small friend groups? It's always very big friend groups. So I wanted to experience what it was like to be in a big friend group. And I noticed it was better to be in a small friend group than a big one, because when in big friend groups, it's very rare that everybody is just as close as each other. Some people, when you are in a big friend group, there's probably going to be like, so let's say you're in a friend group of, let's go, 8 people. You're in a friend group of 8 people, right? Oh my gosh, I'm so dyslexic, I don't even know what 8 is. Okay, so you're in a friend group of 8 people. Okay, there's going to be like, let's say there's 2 people that are hella close. There's another 2 people that are hella close. And then there's like, and then there's maybe like the 3 of you that are just like not that close. Or there's like everybody's really close to somebody and you're not that close to somebody. Like, there's always gonna be people that are like really close in the group, and that leaves you kind of feeling a bit left out. And in my case, I usually was the one that would feel left out, because I wouldn't be that close to anybody. So my key piece of advice is try not to be in like really big friend groups, because it's very rare in a big friend group that everybody's just as close as each other. And usually it's one of 2 things. If you are not the person who's feeling left out, there's somebody else in the friend group that feels left out. If you're the one, or it's going to be you that feels left out. And I've experienced both sides of the spectrum, where I've been the person that was left out, and I've been the person who didn't realize, I didn't know, like, oh, this person felt left out, and I, like, obviously tried to include them and stuff like that. But it's either you're going to feel left out, or somebody else is going to feel left out. And also, there's going to be people that are hella close. Like, there's always going to be best friends, or the people that are hella close, and you just kind of feel a little left out. So, if you want my personal advice, I would say it's better to have no friends than terrible friends, or friends that don't treat you that well. And it's better to be in a small friend group than a big friend group. Now, granted, I'm not saying big friend groups don't work. I'm just saying that it's unlikely. Like, I remember there was this one big friend group in high school that I was low-key a little jealous of. Well, not jealous, but just like, damn, I kind of wish I got to experience that. And it was like a group of, like, I'm not even kidding, like 20 people. They broke up before graduation. They are not a friend group anymore. So yeah, big friend groups. They're an acquired taste. Sometimes there's more times than not they don't work. So it's better to have a small friend group than a big friend group. Okay. So my second piece of advice is don't just do it because everybody else is doing it. Don't just do it because everybody else is doing it. Because that is a quick fire way to do a decision you're going to regret. Okay? For example, everybody might be dating at your school. That doesn't mean you have to date. Everybody might be getting intimate at your school. Doesn't mean you need to do it, okay? So, me personally, I've never been a follower. Like, I do what I want. I don't care how controversial, how weird or out of the norm it might be. But I kind of just do what I want. I don't really care what anyone thinks. Well, I did a little bit back then, but I didn't care to that degree that I would do something that I don't want to do. I've never been someone who would do what I don't want to do, you know? I did care what people thought about me a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, back then. But I would never do something that I knew I was going to regret, or I would never do something that I would like. I would never do something I was going to regret, you know? But now I don't care what anyone thinks about me. But I will tell you, I was lucky that I was in a friend group where, I don't know why I keep looking to the side, I don't fucking know. But I'm lucky that I was in a friend group where no one was really dating. Like, I was in a friend group of like 8-9 people at some point, and genuinely, like, none of us had dated anyone except maybe 2 out of like the 8 of us. So, you know, I wasn't in a friend group where everyone was dating, and even then I still wouldn't care because I've just never cared to be in a relationship. I've never been in a relationship. I don't care. I just don't crave. I like my own company too much. I don't care to be in a relationship. So I would never feel left out, but I know there's a lot of people that feel like they're missing out. Like, oh, I'm missing out on teen love. I'm missing out on the experience of teen love. Guys, I had a friend who was dating. She had a boyfriend for quite a while, and yeah, it was not sunshine and rainbows. What I've been hearing from the streets, you are not missing out on much, bro. You are not. I saw a video the other day that said being in a teen relationship, no shade, no offense, can stunt your growth. You know, it can stunt your character development and you finding yourself, because being in a relationship, it does kind of stunt that, especially if you get in a relationship very young. So being in a relationship can actually stunt you finding yourself and just stunt like your character development, because you're just hella young. There's no easy way to slice it or dice it. You're just hella young, and you're not missing out on anything. Like, you're a teenager, right? You should be reading the books. Like, who cares about like everyone else is dating? Like, don't ever feel pressured to be in a relationship because everybody else is in a relationship, and you know, you're really not missing out on anything. I'm gonna tell you guys something for free. Most of these relationships don't even last. Most of them don't even last, and most of them that do last, they're not even healthy relationships. I'm telling you. I am telling you guys, most of these teen relationships are like jokes. They don't last. They date for like 6 months and they break up, or someone is cheating. I remember this one girl who, I have no beef with this girl. I have no problem with her. I'm not friends with her. I've not heard good things about this girl at all. But I never had negative feelings towards her because she never did anything to me. But, you know, I've heard she's a little bit of a weirdo. I don't know. But she would constantly, I'm not going to lie, like, back in the day, when people I used to go to school with would come on my suggested, I'm not going to act like I didn't sometimes click on their profile and look at a few videos. And I went on her profile, and this girl she posted with her new boyfriend, and she would post with her boyfriend quite a bit. And, you know, people would hype them up, like, people from her friends would hype her up, and they're like, oh, you guys are so cute, and she's like, yeah, like, not my business to say, but she was like, yeah, like, we've been, you know, he waited like 6 months to kiss me. Okay, that's a bit of an exaggeration. It wasn't 6 months, it was way shorter than that. Let's say, like, he waited a month to kiss me. Like, you know, she said this stuff, and I was like, okay, cool, cute. I'm just not a jealous person, so, I'm just not really a jealous person, so I don't really care. I was just like, okay, cool, cute, like, you know, patient, that's great. And then, yeah, he cheated on her. So, yeah. Don't take these teen relationships seriously. Like, don't feel like you're missing out on anything. Like, I honestly feel like being in a teen relationship kind of stunts your character development. Like, not like, I mean, I'm not saying some teen relationships don't work out. I'm just saying that's like the very low percentile of people. Like, most of them don't work out. Okay, most of these teen relationships do not work. So don't feel like because everyone else is in a relationship, you're missing out. Teen love is really ain't nothing. You're really not missing out on anything. And being in a teen relationship, I'm pretty sure is exactly the same as being in a relationship in your early 20s. Please, please enjoy your youth. Stop wasting it trying to tie yourself down. Okay? That leads me to my third one. Please. This is one that I hear girls say all the time. So now I'm gonna yell at you because now I'm frustrated. Okay? Who cares that everybody is getting intimate? You do not need to be getting intimate. You don't need to be having coitus because everybody else is, okay? You are not missing out on anything. Like I said, me personally, I don't even know. I actually think I might be asexual. I don't know. It's a joke. It's a joke. But I actually think I might be a little bit. Because, like, I just don't want to. You know, I have no desire to. I don't want to. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. But hypothetically, if I did want to, if I did do it when I was younger, or even now, I know I would regret it. I know I would regret it sooner or later because I'm very young. And when you are younger, you don't really want to make decisions that you can't take back, like your first time. And your first time is something that you will never get back. And people are like, oh, like, you know, virginity is a construct or whatever. Okay, cool. I do agree a little bit. I do agree. Like, yeah, sure. I do think I don't think it's that deep. I don't think it's like this massive thing. But I do think that you don't want. I've been seeing an influx of videos recently of people saying they regret losing their V card to somebody that they didn't. Let me not say that. They regret having their first time with somebody that they feel like didn't deserve it or didn't appreciate them, or like they just wish they waited a little longer till maybe they were older, or like, you know, I've been seeing an influx of those videos. If a guy or even a girl, I've been seeing videos of girls pressuring too, tries to pressure you to do the nasty or don't do it. If it were up to me, if you want my advice, I would say don't do it when you were a teenager. Okay, I'm on my laptop, so the shaking is from my laptop. I would say don't do it when you're a teenager because you're not likely to make logical decisions when you are a teenager. But if you want to, don't be dumb. Be safe. Okay, there's so many forms of birth control now. You better be freaking safe. It better be with somebody who's worth it, okay? Don't just, like, do it with, like, anybody. Like, make sure it's somebody who's worth it. Because I can't stop you. Teenagers gonna do what teenagers gonna do, okay? Like, I'm a teenager myself, and I do what I want to do, like, when it comes to life. But just make sure it's with somebody that genuinely deserves it, and not somebody that you know you're gonna regret. Don't do it with that trash guy or that trash girl who treats you like crap, but they said, oh, I'm gonna break up with you if we don't do it. Like, who cares? There will be somebody out there who is perfectly fine with waiting until you are ready. And I'm telling you guys, I've been seeing too many people recently who said that they regret having coitus, okay? I've seen an influx of videos. So don't do it just because everybody else is doing it. People might tell you, again, me personally, I was lucky that I was in a friend group where none of us, like, again, not my business to say, I'm not going to say too much, but, like, none of us were, like, in relationships, none of us were, like, doing anything intimate with anybody, so I never had to, like, we never had conversations about that because none of us had done it, but in some friend groups, it's like everybody has done the nasty, and then you might feel left out and be like, damn, I gotta do the nasty too. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't have to. You don't have to do nasty. Wait till you're older, and if you are going to do it, be safe, okay? I would say don't do it when you're a teenager, because you're more likely to regret it. But if you do, it needs to be with somebody who deserves it, not with anybody just so you can lose it or get it over and done with. And be safe. I'm gonna come through the screen and slap you, okay? Be safe, okay? Be safe. Please, I beg of you. Me personally, I never had FOMO. I don't care. I don't think I'm missing out. I have no desire to run privates. But for the people that do feel left out, I kid you not, you're not missing out on anything. you are not missing out on anything, okay? So don't ever feel like you need to just because everybody else is, and you are not missing out on anything, okay? We good to? We good to? Okay, cool. Alright. Another thing is I would recommend you to get a job, okay? Get a G-O-B. Oh! I know I didn't just say get a G-O-B. I did. Get a job. You don't have to, it can be casual. I remember I got a casual job. I've had a few jobs, but they were always very temporary. Like, usually my last job was a little too serious. I had to quit because they were playing with me too much. Like, they were wrong. I was casual, but sometimes I'll be working 4 days a week. So if I'm casual, how am I working 4 days a week? Casual means every now and again. 4 days a week is too much. You're playing with me. So I had to quit. But with some jobs, they will ask you to, usually casual is like once a week, twice a week, maybe a few times every few weeks. So casual is a great way to work if you don't want to work like a dog. If you don't want to work like a dog, casual is a very good position to start. Just saying. Okay? So get a job. Preferably not fast food, because all my friends that I had who did fast food hated it. I hated working fast food. The managers were always assholes. But if you can't find any other job, work fast food. But try and avoid it. Probably it's better to work retail, you know. But you're more likely to get hired faster if it's fast food. So I would say just work in the food industry. It's more likely to get hired. But it's good to have your money. And I know you want to spend it, but try and save it. Okay, I'm not that responsible with my money, but I'm better. I'm better than I used to be. Try and save your money, okay? But it's good to get a job, builds character, gets you ready for the adult world, and yeah, let's get into it. So my next piece of advice is, if you are being bullied, please, I'm begging on my knees, tell somebody that you are being bullied. Trying to protect your bullies, because you don't, like me personally, I got bullied for many years, and one of my main reasons for not telling anybody was because I was like, oh, they're not gonna care, or nothing's gonna come from it. Or like I was like, oh, my bullies are not gonna care if I snitch on them because they don't care about anything. That's not true. Or I would tell myself, like, or I would say, like, you know, it might make the bullying worse, or I don't know. But you need to tell somebody. You need to. You need to tell somebody. Even if it's just your friend, so your friend can defend you, tell somebody. Tell the teacher. There's going to be a teacher who cares. There's going to be somebody who cares. Okay? There's going to be somebody. Tell your counselor. You cannot... Being bullied is horrible for your mental health. And also, I understand sometimes teachers don't take bullying seriously, because I witnessed it firsthand. I would see people in school be bullied and nothing happen. Literally, I've seen it happen. I've seen teachers laugh at kids being bullied. I know that not always teachers take it seriously, but sometimes, most times, they will take it seriously, and your bullies need to be taught a lesson. So please tell your teachers, or whatever the hell you want to say, that you were being bullied. Okay? So don't try and keep that to yourself. Tell somebody. We cool? Okay, cool. Now, my next piece of advice is don't rot in your bed. Okay? Don't rot in your bed. I'm 19 now, so this is my last year being a teenager, and I'm going to make it count. I'm going to, I'm going to have fun. I'm going to go, not that way. I'm going to, go to parties, or I'm going to hang out with my friends more, go to the shops, go to the movies, go for walks, go to each other's houses. Things that, I didn't do before. And I think this, for me, as an introvert and as a homebody, I really like being at home. I really like my own company. I get irritated if I'm around people too much. I just can't do it. But I do think that I've excluded myself a little too much growing up. And I'm trying to understand now that, I missed out on so many core teenager experiences because of me being such an introvert. I feel like I missed out on opportunities to get closer with people, make more friends. And if you don't enjoy your youth, you're going to regret it. So enjoy your youth, okay? Go to the movies with your friend. I know sometimes you're like, oh, I really want to. But once you go to the movies and you start watching that movie, you're gonna have fun. You're gonna have fun. You might not want to go to that birthday party, but when you drag yourself out of bed and you go, you're going to have fun. So enjoy your youth and have fun, okay? Go to the party, go to the movies, you know, go to the lunch, you know, have fun with your friends, because you're not going to be young forever. You can't just go to the movies whenever you want when you're older. Like, I mean, I've never really heard of grown adults going to the movies with their friends, to be fair. They usually just go to lunch. But, you know, walking around the store, going to the movies, these are like usually stuff you do when you're a teenager. So enjoy it, okay? Enjoy being a teenager. Next, I know this is going to be annoying, but please study. Study, study, study. I know there's like learning stuff that can make it hard. Like I struggle with like somewhat like, I don't know, like ADHD or something. I don't know. I struggle with like reading and like, not reading, but just like I struggled a lot with like learning and shit like that. So it wasn't that easy for me to just study. But if you're not that good at like school, just try to do enough that you can get into like a decent college or university. Don't listen to the lies that people try and spread where they say college or uni doesn't matter. It does. Okay? I have always been 50-50 about uni or college for the longest time. And then I went from 50-50 to college and uni doesn't matter. And now that I'm 19, you know, I finished school early because I started school early. I'm finally starting to realize, oh wait, no, that's complete lies. Like, school does matter. And you need to go to school. Okay? I'm not asking you. I'm telling you, go to school. Do good in school, or as best as you can, and go to uni. I'm not asking you. You have to go to uni. Go to uni or go to college. Don't listen to the propaganda that people trying to spread on TikTok, where they say, oh, it's like you can't even get a job with it. Like, who cares? They don't care if you have a degree or not. If you have a degree, you have a guaranteed job. Okay, you have a guaranteed career and a guaranteed job. You need your degree. Don't be a burden. Get your degree. Get your degree, okay? Go to college, go to uni. It matters. Don't listen to the propaganda people are trying to spread on TikTok trying to tell you don't matter. It matters, okay? It matters? Okay, cool. And next is just try not to isolate yourself too much. Like I said, as an introvert, I like being by myself. But, you know, just try. Like, if somebody's trying to befriend you, give them a chance. See what they're like, you know? Because me, personally, sometimes I remember people try and speak to me and I get irritated because I'm just such an introvert and such a homebody, and I'm already irritated because I'm at school. But, you know, just don't be so opposed to it. Like, if somebody tries to talk to you, give them a chance. See what they're like. See what kind of vibe they're giving. You know what I mean? Obviously, if they're not giving, then, you know, you don't need to talk to them. It's not by force. But if they seem like a cool person, give them a chance, have a little conversation with them, yada, yada, yada. And yeah, that is my big sister advice. I love you guys so much. Peace out.
Baby, you are the one.